This meeting's called to order. As a tradition at MTSU, I hope it'll be a long-standing tradition. General Huber, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
General, while you have the floor, another tradition that we've stayed loyal to is recognizing a student veteran. Would you please go from here?
Yes, Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning it is my privilege to introduce United States Marine Corps Sergeant Kewantisha Avila. Most of us view paperwork as hopefully a necessary evil, but normally as drudgery and something that we'd rather somebody else do, and an excuse for why the processes don't work properly. Sergeant Avila started in the Marine Corps, served faithfully for 4.5 years at San Diego, and her first task was to write and present award citations. And these awards are generally signed at the level of a general officer, and in some cases at the level of the Secretary of the Navy in the case of the Marine Corps. So you can imagine that these citations have to be accurate and meticulous and precise, and they impact people's lives and advancement, as well as recognition for duties well performed. She then was selected to go to the headquarters Marine Corps Inspector General office. So now she's dealing with poor behavior in the framework of hotline complaints and then inquiries from members of Congress. If those of you have not been exposed to the wonders of what we refer to as a congressional, so a member of Congress has a question or an inquiry, and it transitions from Congress in Washington, D.C., to the Office of Legislative Affairs, down to the Service Secretary, to the 4-star, and all the time it's got a clock on it. And by the time it gets down to the people where the question needs to be answered, you're on a very short fuse to answer precisely and perfectly back to members of Congress. She continues to serve our nation as a Marine spouse. Her husband's an active duty Marine. She serves in the Daniels Center as a student worker, so that attention to detail, that desire to help people and to do the right thing allows her to counsel and direct and assist our veterans and their family members with the benefits that they've earned and they deserve. She's currently a sophomore here at MTSU, studying a major of criminal justice. Ladies and gentlemen, Marine Corps Sergeant Avila.
I'm honored that you guys allowed me to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Steve Smith, your chairman, and I want to extend a warm welcome to everyone here. Thanks for taking the time to be with us. Special thank you today to Dr. Martin, who's our newest and only second ever faculty trustee. And we look forward to working with you and learning from you. Something that's not in here that we're really open. So I want you to be, and we all want you to be, on any committee you'd like. The chairman's prerogative to assign committees. And with a small group, we've allowed or wanted you be on any committee you'd like, or all of them if you'd like. Several of us are on all of them. So that's why we have long committee meetings, and that's where we really do the twisting and turning and pushing and pulling. And our board meetings, I think the president would agree, go much faster, smoother, because we've already spent hours messing with it. So sometime between now and the next meeting, you tell me which committees you'd like to be on, and you'll be welcome. I think there's one committee that by statute or by rule is just chairman, vice chairman, and head of audit, but every other committee is wide open, and we look for your help. And thank you.
Thank you very much. You've all been very warmly welcoming, and I appreciate it. And I look forward to working with you all.
Good. Mr. President, you have any opening remarks?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just briefly, I'd like to join you in welcoming Professor Martin as our new trustee. I've had the pleasure over the years in working with her in various capacity. First as the Faculty Senate President. She served on many, many committees at the university and has been very, very active as a faculty member and a faculty senator. So I look forward to working with her in her new role as faculty trustee. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Secretary Zimmerman, would you call a roll, please?
Yes, sir. Trustee Adams.
Here.
Trustee Baker.
Here.
Trustee DeLay.
Here.
Trustee Freeman.
Here.
Trustee Jacobs.
Here.
Trustee Martin.
Here.
Trustee Karbowiak. Trustee Smith.
Here.
Trustee Tracy. Trustee Wright.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Our first order of business would be to approve the minutes of our last meeting. Are there any additions, subtractions, suggestions? If not, I'd like to have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Our next item is taken up by Academic Affairs, Student Life, and Athletics Committee, and we're honored to have Trustee Pam Wright chairs that. Pam, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman Smith. The Academic Affairs, Student Life, and Athletics Committee met on May 29, 2019. Our meeting began with approval of the minutes from the March 19, 2019 meeting. The next action item was approval of the candidates recommended for tenure and/or promotion. Faculty applied for tenure and/or promotion in September 2018 and have been reviewed by their department chair, school director, department school committee, college committee, and college dean, according to MTSU policy 204 and 205, and their respective college and department policies. The president and university provost recommend 39 faculty be granted tenure and 75 faculty be promoted, effective August 1, 2019. All recommended candidates were unanimously approved by this committee, and we congratulate these faculty for their accomplishments. The next item before the committee was consideration of a new academic degree program, a Bachelor of Science in Public Writing and Rhetoric. This program would be a 4-year interdisciplinary degree housed in the College of Liberal Arts. Similar to degrees offered at many institutions, this degree will provide students with in-depth training in writing and rhetorical studies, preparing them for a range of writing-focused careers that involve analysis, creation, and editing of text, as well as for graduate study. No such degree programs currently exist in Middle Tennessee. The program of study is designed to allow students to pursue electives, minors, and second majors in other departments and disciplines. It will be particularly attractive to students in other disciplines that require strong writing skills, such as in the sciences, business, and more. The major would draw on the expertise of current faculty in such departments as English, Communication Studies, and Journalism. So this new program was also approved unanimously. Next on the agenda was an informational item. Ken Paulson, Dean of the College of Media and Entertainment, provided an overview of the establishment of the Free Speech Center. The center's primary mission is one of public service, educating students and the public about the value of the First Amendment in a free society. The Free Speech Center will be integrated into campus life and academics, fulfilling the university's stated mission to educate students so that they, quote, understand the proper role of free expression and civic engagement in our society. The next information item was an update on the campus response to students' complaints about athletics staff. You will recall that this was a subject of public comments before the board at its April 3rd meeting. Dr. Deb Sale, Vice President for Student Affairs, reported that President McPhee has convened a committee of athletics, student affairs, and legal staff to review the concerns brought before the Board of Trustees at our April 3rd, 2019 meeting. Vice President Sale said the committee has met twice and has determined deliverables for the end of August to address athletics, staff behavior, and student-athlete complaints. President McPhee added that we are being proactive, and this issue is allowing us to do some self-examination and to make some improvements. And a final item at the committee meeting held on September 18, 2018, there was unanimous approval of proposed Rule 0240-07-05, Student Conduct, and revisions to Policy 540, Student Conduct. The proposed rule and policy revisions will require a separate motion and a roll call vote of this board. So, Mr. Chairman and trustees, materials outlining these actions were made available prior to this meeting. They're contained in your notebooks, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. As mentioned by Ms. Wright, a separate motion is required on the proposed rule and policy, and I'd like to have a motion to approve Rule 0240-07-05, Student Conduct Revisions to Policy 540, Student Contact.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Heidi, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Trustee Adams?
Yes.
Trustee Baker?
Yes.
Trustee DeLay?
Yes.
Trustee Freeman?
Yes.
Trustee Jacobs?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
We have 8 aye votes.
And that's unanimous as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we'll need a motion concerning the remaining action items recommended by the committee. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
second?
Second.
On this, we'll just have a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Our next report is Audit and Compliance Committee. I'm going to ask Andy Adams to provide us that work.
Thank you, Chairman Smith. The Audit and Compliance Committee met on May 29, 2019. Our only action item on the agenda was approval of the minutes from the committee meeting held on April 3, 2019. However, there were some informational items, and those are as follows: a follow-up review of the President's Statement of Disclosure and confirmation that the Tennessee Ethics Commission would include for future reporting an option that reads, quote, President-University governed by Board of Trustees. Next, informational item, an external review of the TN SBDC, which results showing that the center is in compliance with the federal objectives of the SBDC program, and there were no findings requiring attention. And thirdly, a quarterly report, results of internal audit reports. The public meeting of the committee adjourned, and the committee went into executive session to discuss audits and investigations. Mr. Chairman and fellow trustees, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Adams. Our next report is Finance and Personnel Committee. Chairman Joey Jacobs, floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman Smith. The Finance and Personnel Committee met on May 29, 2019. First item on the agenda was approval of the minutes from the March 18, 2019 Finance and Personnel Committee meeting. The next action item on our agenda was the approval of the MTSU Foundation Agreement. At the previous meeting, this item was deferred, and a request was made for University Advancement Vice President Joe Bells to provide an overview of the relationship between the foundation and the university. On April 3rd, 2019, Vice President Bells made a thorough presentation regarding this matter, and on May the 29th, the agreement was approved by this committee. Next, Mr. Bill Waits, Assistant Vice President for Campus Planning, shared two items concerning capital outlay and disclosure. First, as an action item, the proposed MTSU capital outlay project for fiscal year 2020-21 is the Applied Engineering Building that will provide lab, classroom, office space, and common space for the degree areas of mechatronics, engineering, and engineering technology. And second, as an information item, MTSU plans to submit 5 capital projects for disclosing, including improvements to the campus quadrangle, food service improvements, Floyd Stadium stairs, tennis improvements, and renovations to the Smith Baseball Club. Mr. Joe Whitefield, Assistant Vice President, Facility Service, presented for action the capital maintenance project request for fiscal year 2020-21 in conjunction with instructions received from the Tennessee Higher Education Commission. Capital maintenance request for 6 projects for fiscal year 2020-21 totaling $10,050,000. Both action items regarding capital outlay and maintenance were approved. The next action item was the presentation of the proposed tuition, fees, and housing rates for the upcoming academic year. Vice President for Finance, Alan Thomas, provided a detailed overview of the proposals. In summary, the total impact of the combined increase in undergraduate tuition and mandatory fees is a 2.37% increase on students taking 15 hours, which complies with THEC's total guidance of 0 to 2.5%. This committee approved the proposals for fee increases. I would also like to inform you that the Tennessee law, Tennessee Code Annotated 49-7-1603, we are required to give public notice of proposed increase to tuition and mandatory fees charged to in-state undergraduate students at least 15 days prior to holding a public meeting to adopt the increases. A very easy and visible link from the university's homepage was made effective on May 30th for individuals to provide comments during the 15-day period regarding tuition and fee increase proposals. The public comment period ran from May 30 to June 13th at 4:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. All public comments received have been collected and included in your books. We appreciate the perspectives provided in the comments and have given careful consideration to the impact that any increase will have on student affordability. In evaluating the proposal, the Finance Committee reviewed materials containing tuition rates of other Tennessee public institutions as well as peer institutions, and found that even with the proposed fee increase, MTSU ranked as very affordable in comparison. Under the Focus Act, the Board of Trustees is also charged with approving the operating budget and setting the fiscal policies for Middle Tennessee State University. Vice President Thomas provided materials that shows the 2018-19 estimated budget and the 2019-20 proposed budget. The budgets were approved as presented. The final item before the committee was a request for approval to implement a 1% cost of living increase effective July 1, 2019 from the 2% salary pool created from operating appropriations. A proposal for implementing market adjustments will be brought to the committee at the August meeting. The proposal will include the remaining funds from the salary pool after the 1% cost of living increase, along with any additional funds provided from an increase in enrollment, in an attempt to substantially close the gap between actual employee salaries and 2014-15 CUPA salaries. The 1% cost of living increase effective July 1, 2019 was approved. Mr. Chairman and fellow trustees, material outlining these actions were made available for review prior to this meeting or included in the board notebooks. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Chairman Jacobs. Are there any questions? I have one. Vice President Bales, when will we get a answer to our request about trustees having an ex officio member on the foundation board?
I think legal has looked at that, Mr. Chairman, and EAB and well as
Not EAB. AGB and other peer institutions have similar programs that allow board members to serve as ex officio. It would require the foundation board to change its bylaws, which their next meeting will be in September, and we'll address it at that time.
We'll make that recommendation.
Okay, but you're going to forward them our request?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions? I need a motion to approve Finance and Personnel Committee's action items.
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Approved.
Mr. Chairman, it might be appropriate if the board would make a formal motion or stating its request to the foundation board.
Okay.
I make a motion that the foundation board provide an ex officio slot on its board to the board of trustees, one of the board of trustees.
Second.
And that would be appointed by this board.
Yes.
All right, all in favor?
I appoint you.
No, I don't want to be on it. But thank you. I might change my mind. All in favor of that?
It's all yours.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That's a matter of record, and appreciate the suggestion. Madam Secretary, do you have a report?
Yes, a very brief one. As soon as I can find my notes. Just one policy of a minor nature was reviewed, or revised, I'm sorry, and that is found on page 253 of your materials. I just want to note that the public records rule that you all approved at a prior meeting is now effective. It became effective June 2nd. And the three rules that you approved at just the very last meeting of the board are scheduled to become effective on August 15th. Thank you.
Now might be a time for this question. I assume no one applied for public comment today.
No, sir.
Okay. we're wide open for it. We just have rules on how to do it. Okay. Well, I believe we're down to the president's closing remarks.
Yes.
Mr. President?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of this board. As always, I really do appreciate the opportunity to provide you this report at each of our quarterly board meetings. The first item has always been an update on our applications, admissions, and enrollment for the upcoming academic year. As of June 1, our new freshman and new transfer enrollment and application numbers continue to be very strong. And we are busy with customs orientation sessions that are not only filled to capacity, but literally are overflowing. It's crowded. That's a good problem to have. This summer, we will hold 10 two-day custom sessions for freshmen and 8 one-day sessions for transfer students. New freshman applications for the upcoming fall have now topped over 11,000 applications for the fall of 2019, quickly approaching a record-breaking number, and we have admitted 19% more new freshmen than we had last year at the same time. Transfer applications are up 6%, and we have admitted just over 8% more new transfer students than we had last year at this time. With customs orientation underway, we are now able to begin to track actual enrollment. So we have the recruitment process, orientation through customs, and then the enrollment of students. And I'm pleased to report to you that the Tennessee Higher Education Commission recently released information regarding the very first cohort of Tennessee Promise students transferring from a 4-year college and university. And Mr. Chairman, members of this board, of all the LGIs and the UT system, MTSU is the #1 choice of Tennessee Promise students transferring to a 4-year institution. That is consistent and connects to us being the #1 choice, period, for transfer student in the country. Back to freshman enrollment, it appears that, again, we are on track for a significant increase in new freshman enrollment, and perhaps as much as 8%. And I'm holding my vice president for student affairs to that number. Right, Dr. Sells? She's done a wonderful job with her staff, by the way.
Did you say 9%? What'd you say?
25%. 8%. And our new transfer student enrollment increased approximately 2 to 3%. So enrollment really has 2 parts to it. The incoming new freshman students, the recruitment, that is the lifeline of the university. But also the continuing students, the retention of those students, are a very significant part of the total enrollment at our university. And as we have discussed, and as I reported previously, there are many factors that involve in the retention issues. We are working very hard on that and have seen some improvement. But life happens to many of our first-generation college students, particularly financial and family. And so there's only so much that we can control of the retention. But I want you to know that we are working across the board, all of the academic units under the leadership of the provost on retaining students. But our new freshman enrollment, I'm very pleased to see the interest in our program, in our university. Also, I just want to report that most recently we completed the process to seek and award a new contract for a campus food service provider. Students are always interested in the quality of the catering on the campus. And this year, we have selected, Aramark was the successful bidder going through the process, the state mandated process. And as part of the contract with Aramark, summer 2019 renovations are underway and will include some major projects in 2 locations. We'll be adding a sushi, yes, a sushi location, and all you care to eat, locally sourced fresh market venue in our student union. We're moving up in the world. We'll be enhancing the food service operation in the James Union Building by creating a new grill, hangout for students, and also a multi-use facility that will accommodate summer athletic training tables, meals. I know our coaches are looking forward to that, Chris. These are enhanced meals and pre-game meals for athletics during the academic year, and that can be used as a study table location at night, so it will be multi-purpose. In the area of information technology, in an effort to provide increased protection to our students, faculty, and staff, MTSU is the first public university in Tennessee to require that all students, faculty, and staff to use a multi-factor authentication. Long, big word. I'm sure our VP can explain that, but it's safety in terms of access to the internet and to your email, et cetera. Is that right, Mr. Vice President? Perfect. This is one of several initiatives in the area of cybersecurity being implemented by the university. Work continues with increasing our security camera coverage and capabilities. We will be upgrading the server used for the security camera system, which now contains on our campus over 700 security cameras, some capable of picking up license plate identification, and a parent's search works with vehicle as well as people. So very high definition that these cameras, these new cameras will be picking up. It's such an important area that the state has allocated the last 2 years, Alan? 3 years, additional appropriation for campuses across the state public universities to enhance the security of their campuses. And we've been beneficiaries of that support. In the area of university advancement, 2 primary highlights. First, we have secured $5.2 million in commitments for our new concrete and construction management building, which, as you all know, made it as the #1 LGI project as part of the 2019-2020 state budget, and certainly has been approved by the legislature, and work will be very shortly on that building as we complete work on the new academic building for social work, psychology, and criminal justice. We also have secured a $2.2 million in new geo-mapping technologies and software for our geoscience department, and are completing another donation from the Mini Plan Incorporated. Now, I want to share with you something really exciting. All the other stuff was exciting, but this is very, very exciting. And this idea actually came from our newest trustee, faculty trustee. She picked up the phone last week and called me and said she had an idea. And I agreed that it was an excellent idea. Here it goes. The MTSU Summer Reading Program uses the practice of a common reading to create a unifying intellectual experience for our entering class of freshmen. We implemented this my second year as president. Is that right, Dr. Sells? And I think we stole the idea from University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. So since 2002, MTSU, with a committee of faculty and staff, have chosen a single book with an exceptional message to share with incoming students, with our faculty, our staff, and we have also added and have great participation from the high schools and the Murfreesboro community, with the librarian at the community taking the leadership in that area. We believe that this tradition communicates the importance of reading and intellectual discussion as the basis for our academic community. This year, members of the board, Mr. Chairman, our reading book is entitled Educated, a Memoir by Tara Westover. And as a gift, our university administration and faculty, we are presenting each of you a copy, and this is the clue, Ms. Edgar. Hint, we will be presenting you a copy of the book. It is an autobiography of a young woman raised in an isolated, survivalist family in Idaho. As a child, she never set foot in the school classroom, but worked hard to educate herself at home. And at age 17, she made the decision to leave her family to enroll in college. Now, this is the Cliff version, but you still have to read it. The book truly is an amazing story of how education transforms lives. And so I hope you will be a part of our community of reading experience by engaging and reading this book for the summer. And then you're invited to join us for the opening convocation that we will hold on Saturday, August the 24th at 5 p.m. This has been extremely successful. This is when we invite all incoming freshmen, their parents, the family members. This is the day before classes begin, well, 2 days now. We used to have it on Sunday. And we have the author to come and speak to the convocation. And anywhere from 8,000 to 10,000 show up in Murphy Center each year for this event. And we want you to know that the convocation is one of our most important traditions. It's a formal academic ceremony that welcomes, as I said, our students to campus. The Band of Blue will play. New students will take the True Blue Pledge, and our keynote speaker will also be there to make a presentation. We also have attending all of our student athletes. Chris, you do an excellent job with the coaches in having all of the student athletes, all 17 sports, attend along with all of the student organization, all the leadership of students on the campus. It is really, really an incredible experience. So I look forward to having many of you attend this convocation on the 24th. And you will be tested on the book the week before.
I grade the test, but that's all.
Now, I have one other document that I want to share with you. Again, you're the first to receive a copy of our latest bound version of the President's report. Really focus on a lot of the excellent things that's going on this campus by our faculty, our staff, and many of our administrators. It is not only an attractive publication, but it's full of easy-to-read facts and updates universities and deal with a lot of metrics that we follow. So I hope you'll take a few minutes to read it. And certainly, if you would like extra copies, we will provide that for you. Finally, today I want to publicly recognize one of our outstanding employees who have made just a significant contribution to our university. Faye Johnson is an associate professor. Faye, would you stand, please, for strategic planning and partnership in the provost office? She retires from MTSU after 50 years of exemplary service. As you know, Faye is our guru and has been our guru in managing all of the very important SACS accreditation. And as you know, the last two, particularly 2 years ago, we were one of the few universities that got through SACS with 0 recommendation, 0 suggestion, and many of the programs and initiatives were put on display at SACS during the national meeting so that other institutions can see how it's done. So Faye, we will miss you. We know that this is well-deserved, and it's with mixed emotion that we send you off in this transition, but you're well-deserving. And thank you for your many, many years of excellent services. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Two things I'd like to bring to our attention before closing. One is Trustee Baker suggested an MTSU trustee lapel pin, and the president jumped on it and delivered, and we have a good-looking, wear with honor lapel pin. And thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Mr. Baker, for giving us that suggestion. We'll be sending you a bill. Also, I'd like for everybody to put on their calendar, the president has cleared his, and I'm open, so if you would pencil in August 1 for a half-day retreat at my home, and we'll learn something good about something that's going on, and then we'll have a meal with university officials. It's hopefully it's building some community and learning something at the same time. So August 1, Kim, as usual, will be getting you all those details as we go. I'd like to thank everybody that puts on this meeting. It's when you come and it goes as smooth as it goes. We don't give enough credit to the young women and men that do this, and thank you. Look forward to our next meeting, September 18th. And I want to tell you what an honor it is to be your chairman, and which I appreciate. And we're all going to stay true blue, and meeting is adjourned.